everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today is my July wrap-up part 2. It's going to be done kind of differently because it's going to be done in more of a discussion way than a rating way, because I read 2 books that were new and the rest were rereads, and I'm going to explain to you why the rest were rereads. So, let's just talk about the 2 that I read that were not rereads. I'm going to do a review on one of them, and the other one I just adored, and I'm going to talk about quickly, but not too quickly. I was sent this for review. This is The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart by Holly Ringland. This was wonderful. It was a really heartwarming tale. It has to do with trauma and the experience of trauma and what it can do to a person throughout their life. It's really beautifully written. It has a really set place in Australia. I really enjoyed this. I'm going to do a full in-depth review, so I will talk about that in that review. And then the other book that I read for the first time was Sharp Objects. Ooh, are you bent? No. Okay. By Gillian Flynn. I adored this. I thought it was fantastic. I really liked the darker elements of this book that had to do with mental health. And it really put a twist on a thriller. And I'm not sure if I'm going to watch the adaptation because I feel so strongly about the book itself. It's a temptation I'm having, but I know that the triggers would be real for me, and it would be a lot of work for me to watch it. It was a lot of work for me to read this. I read it in 2 days, 3 days. And usually with a book this thick, I'm through it in a day. I read it at the music festival and a couple of days before that. So I kind of just was trying to keep myself present by having noise around me so that I could function and know that I needed to be in this space. I do that a lot with thrillers so that I stay present and I can regulate myself and know that it's not real. So that's a part of my disorder, is I don't always know reality. So it can get pretty serious for me when I'm reading thrillers, and this one did that for me, where it kind of took me out of reality for a little bit, which could sound really tempting in the right format, but for me it just gets scary and aggressive and very traumatizing. So I really enjoyed it. I do recommend it. I do recommend it with trigger warnings for self-harm though, and I don't know if everyone talks about that when they talk about this book, but I would give trigger warnings for that. It's not as explicitly talked about as it could be, but it's still there and it should be addressed as something that could potentially cause trauma. Okay, so rereads. I reread 5 of the Harry Potter books and all of the Girl Who Circumvented Fairyland books. So, why did I do that? I was in a relationship for about 2 months. It ended because my depression got so bad that my ex-partner couldn't handle it. It was bringing him down, and it just was too much for him. So I completely respect that and I understand that. But my depression was so bad that I couldn't focus on anything enough to get reading done. So to keep myself sane, I reread middle grades, or YA, whatever you would call them, to just kind of even the playing field. I've read all these before. I rate them all 4 or 5 stars. I'm really happy with all of them. They mean a lot to me and they give me a lot of joy. But the thing that they really give me in a time of depression is accomplishment. To know that I could still finish a book and feel like I'm still doing what I need to do is really important, because I feel so much like I'm failing when I get into a depression. And so for me, I needed to keep the momentum going, but I couldn't get new information in my head to get the momentum going. I needed to reread. So I don't think I need to do a review of all of these books because I think you've all read them, or at least you know of them. The Girl Who Circumvented Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making is by Catherynne Valente. It is a series of 5 books talking about a young girl named September who goes off to Fairyland on a green wind and has to help save Fairyland. Really beautiful, really well written, does not dumb down for kids. It's really exceptional. I adore it, and 4 or 5 stars for every single book in that series. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is the first in Harry Potter. A boy who gets told he's a wizard and gets shipped off to magic school, and then trouble ensues. I feel really comfortable with the fact that I reread most of this month and that I had to go into those worlds to feel safe. I feel like I understood what I needed and I took care of myself. And I think if I'd gone a different route, I would have been being really uncaring to my own needs, and it would have been more detrimental to my sanity. So I am not fully out of my depression. I'm never fully out of my depression. I always have depression. But I had a really bad spell after my cat died, and that sounds really silly. And then something else happened that I don't really want to share on camera, because it's just the amount of stupidity that I am accessing in my life right now is just brilliant. So yeah, I'm not looking to be, you guys can judge me all you want for my mental illness. That's not something that I choose. But this thing that I'm doing that's stupid is something I choose. And I don't need more judgment on it because I got a lot going on in my real world. So, yeah, a situation, with a ex-partner spiraled me out of control and into a really dark depression, and it ended the relationship that I was in, which again, I don't hold any animosity. I want my book back, but I don't hold any animosity. I feel like if he couldn't handle that depression though, he was not going to be able to handle being with me, because this is not one of my worst depressions. I'm able to get up, I'm able to shower, I'm able to eat, I'm watching TV, I'm reading. This is not as bad as it gets. It gets so bad that I go catatonic. So if he can't handle me when I'm just low, it's not going to work. So it was actually for the best, and it was a better situation than it could have been. But yeah, that is why I reread all of July, and I enjoyed every minute of it. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, click that subscribe button down below. If you have any questions, comments, or quandaries, go ahead and comment down in the comment box. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.